talking about truth here. That's the subject for today. And the truth is that we are not broken, but we feel that way. We often feel that way. And the cross it's a sacred story, not something that's literal, but something that stands for letting go of, dying to the illusion that something in the physical realm has power over us and defines us. So whatever it may be in each of our lives where we feel a limit to who we are and who we can be, that's what we have to die to. That's what it means to lay that down at the cross, so that we can rise into the fullness of who we are. That is our truth. There's a story about a golden Buddha. I'm sure many of you have heard this story, and it's just absolutely beautiful. But the monks who have charge of this golden Buddha are afraid of some marauding troops that are coming through, that they will steal this or destroy it. And so they cover it up with clay so that it just looks dull and uninteresting. And it's successful. It isn't stolen, it isn't destroyed. But maybe the monks are, I don't remember all the details of the story. At any rate, it remains for centuries like this, covered up in clay. And then at a later point, another group of monks is in the process of moving this statue for some reason. And in the process, they discover a chink in the clay. And they see gold shining through. And so they begin to chip away at it. And in doing so, they find the gold that's underneath. And this is also a metaphoric story to remind us that we think of ourselves as dull and uninteresting, covered in clay. We think that's who we are. We think we are our bank account. We think we are our physical condition. We think we are who is on our friends list. None of that is who we are. None of that. The only thing that is truth is that golden light that is within us. That's who we are. We forget. But we come together in groups like this to remember, to remind one another, to be who we are here to be. I've been reluctant over the years, especially as a Unity minister, to call myself a Christian. And people also often ask me in my position, well, are you a Christian organization? And I don't want to say that. And a lot of you would call yourself Jewish, right, that are in this room, or none of the above, spiritual, not religious. But when I grew up, I was raised Catholic. Christian was also an adjective. I didn't really know much about the Christian church. Those were the Protestants, all of whom were going to hell because they weren't Catholics. I didn't know that much about it, but Christian was an adjective. It's a way you were supposed to behave if you were taking the teachings of Jesus seriously. And so for me to say I'm not a Christian means I don't act the way Jesus acted. I'm not kind and showing love and forgiving, and that's not true. So I don't want to say I'm not a Christian, but I don't want to say I am a Christian, because then that comes with all the baggage that we associate with people, especially fundamentalist Christians, which I don't identify with. And so as I've been preparing for this History of New Thought and Unity class, it's been so wonderful to me, because what I'm discovering is the long lineage of New Thought that goes all the way back to the time of Jesus, to contemporaries of Jesus, and going through the Middle Ages and all these times. I knew a lot about the history of New Thought from the late 1800s when Unity was founded. What I didn't know was the roots that went all the way back to the beginning. And what I am realizing is that Christianity is like a rainbow, or spirituality in general is like a rainbow. And so what we are familiar with as Christianity is like one color of the rainbow. Call it yellow, I don't care. So we think it's yellow, but we say, but I'm blue. And the truth is that we have roots that are just as deep as the current Christians have. It's just a different color. And you know, I mean, look at politics. Look at even just one political party. Look at the Democrats. Or just look at the Republicans. They're not all alike. We have a whole spectrum of beliefs that we are holding so firmly, and every 4 years, somebody wins. And then the country goes in a certain direction because of that. But whoever won doesn't define all of us. It defines one group that won. The Christianity that we are familiar with represents one group who won. They had ideas that prevailed at the time. And sometimes they prevailed because they were compelling, and sometimes they prevailed because somebody bribed somebody. That's the truth. You'll learn more about that in the class. But the point is, the idea that the truth is within us, that we can know that directly, that we are here to be that. That is an idea that is as old as Jesus, at least, and it actually goes back before that. It's a powerful idea. And there are ideas in the world out there that tell us something different, that tell us that no, we're not all of that, that want to cut us down to size. But that's not truth. Truth is the light that is within us. Truth is that we are here to illuminate the world. Truth is something that we experience. We feel it inside of ourselves. So ask yourself right now, what do you absolutely know is true for you? Just close your eyes for a minute. I know this to be true. I know this to be true. Okay, open your eyes. What is that? What is that for you? And how do you know? How do you know it's true for you? For me, I know to be true that the Spirit of light speaks through me. The Spirit of love speaks through me. And how I know that to be true is I hear words coming out of my mouth that there's a part of me that's saying, whoa, like I didn't know that before. It's something, I don't know how else to explain it, but it's something that is bigger than me that I can feel coming through. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know that the modalities in which I personally experience it might be different than the modalities in which you experience it, but I know that you each experience it. There are times when love has come through you in such a rush, and you recognize it as the bigness of you. Because that bigness is who we are. We are not here to play small. But small, like the song started out, truth is harder than a lie. Small is more comfortable. At the same time, it's totally uncomfortable because we're busy being miserable about whatever we're being miserable about. But it's familiar, and it doesn't require us to change. And we're afraid of change. So today, the message of today is to dare to show the true colors of you, to go through life being who you really are, the rainbow of you. Dare to let go of the clay that is obscuring your brilliant light, because we need everyone to shine. So interestingly, all four of these are healers in various ways. So we are definitely ramping up the healing energy in this place. This is Diane McAllister, and she's a retired RN who does Reiki. She is passionate about nature, hiking, biking, kayaking, cross-country skiing, gardening, reading, and zenning out. She was raised Christian and is focused on expanding spiritual consciousness, meditation, and is involved in conscious transformation. And this is Sharon Gilbert, and her healing gift is music, especially classical and sacred song. She has family in Bend that includes 4 teenagers, and she has a companion dog, Autumn Grace. Sharon's spiritual background is eclectic, mostly Christian. She has been a lifelong seeker of truth in all matters. She's passionate about the outdoors, mountains and oceans, and being of service. And she'd like to serve as a greeter, help with the youth, Earth Care, food and beverage team, and prayer council, as well as the healing circle. She'd like to participate with spirit groups and the women's group. And Sharon lives near Vince Guenna's Stadium and relies on the kindness of others to get to unity. So if you live in that area, if you talk with her, that will expand her ability to get here.
And she sings like an angel.
Yeah, maybe she'll sing to you while you drive her places. This is Robbie Bianchi Prey, and she's a gifted healer specializing in myofascial release and trauma release for women and nutritional therapy. Besides her work focus, she's also passionate about homesteading, yoga, and personal growth, and she makes amazing sourdough bread. Her spiritual background is Buddhist, yogi, meditation, and she spent time in India. She's interested in serving as a greeter, a spirit group host, and helping with the food team and with Helping Hands. And she's also participating in the women's group. And this is Jenny Chose. She's a retired pharmacist and an esoteric acupuncturist and body worker. She's passionate about exploring many healing modalities to support personal growth of self and tribe. She loves learning new things and challenging her existing paradigms. Her background is Center for Spiritual Living. Jenny is taking the Unity Prayer class and would like to serve with the Divine Healing Circle, help with spiritual cinema, and participate in women's group and spirit groups. So I'm just going to give you all an opportunity to just share why you wanted to be a member. You want to start? Just.
I don't usually mind going first, but this one feels harder.
Just put it near your mouth.
I'm really looking forward to having community and a place to fill up my tank. I feel like my life is all about service and giving, and I'm really looking forward to also receiving. Thank you.
Thank you.
I moved to Central Oregon 3 months ago to find more peace and community and to find my tribe. That's my community.
All right.
Well, my vision is connection and love, and I found it. She said singing. Okay. Okay. I'm going to share that one. I've been singing it for the past 3 days and didn't know why, but now I know why. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. I forgot the next line.
Hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
Take a picture. Okay.
We are so blessed to have these new members. Thank you all for being part of our us. And next we have a Souls on Fire. So for those of you who haven't been here before, this is just a 5-minute segment where different people in our community share what it has meant to them, some experience in their life that has really changed their lives. So Hank Lutz is going to share one with us.
I'm getting to know a few people. My name's Hank. I am, for those of you who don't know me, I'm retired 27-year Air Force officer from Combat Rescue and Special Ops. And I retired because I had babies and I didn't want to deploy any other time while I was having babies. So I decided to get out, move back here to Central Oregon and do service, county search and rescue, and then homeschool the babes. And kind of the story that I have for the class that I'm giving, Celebrate Yourself, Eric Butterworth is one of my all-time favorite authors. Back in 2000, I was in a Barnes & Noble and I found his book called Discover the Power Within You. And I had no idea it was a church. I knew that as soon as I read that book, that was my Bible. I'm like, if anybody else in the world believed this, I do. And I didn't realize there was community. So for 18 years, I only found unity just this past October. And I was doing helicopter school out Leading Edge, totally not bragging. And I saw the Unity banner on the Grange out there, and so I kind of did a little digging. And then as soon as I saw this sign driving by, I was thinking there's no way that this is related. So another one, Eric Butterworth's book called Unity of All Life. And in there, he talks about his ministry through unity. And so I did more digging, contacted Jane, didn't realize there was actually other people like me. I thought I was on a quest by myself to have this spiritual awakening. So kind of the key to this Celebrate Yourself is, literal Christianity believes there was one spiritual awakening 2,000 years ago. But with Eric Butterworth and Charles Fillmore and just countless other authors that I've read, anybody at any age can have a spiritual awakening, whether you're 2 years old, like when my 7-year-old was 2, he was talking to a deceased friend of mine who had died on a rescue mission and giving me details, and I didn't want to push him too much because I know how sensitive he was, but he soon kind of shut down on that. So spiritual awakenings can happen at any age. Eric Butterworth. Mine was at 29, even though I saw things when I was young and I knew things when I was little. But it really hit me hard once I started reading Eric Butterworth and Charles Fillmore, and then even harder here because I feel like I just quantum leapt into a village of my own people. It's like I finally came home and I'm like here and I find people like, oh, are you going to move out of Central Oregon soon? I'm like, no, because I only know these people here. So instead of being alone, instead of thinking that I was on a quest by myself, I'm here with you, and I've been meeting so many people, so many awesome people, everybody, with the men's group that we have, with the men's group that's coming up, with the class that I've been asked to do, with Dave. Dave and I never knew each other, except 1988. We were in the same music competition in the same school at the same time and did the same concert. I sat behind him, and I didn't even know until we started talking about it. Being a fellow musician, I grew up playing trumpet and horns, and he was bass, clarinet, and I always say sax, I don't know why. But, and then we talked about it, and we showed each other pictures, and it was this exact same time. But anyway, so basically, I hope to be able to pass on Eric Butterworth's knowledge in this self-awareness, self-awakening, anytime, anywhere, spiritual awakening that people have. If Derek was here, is Derek here? I mean, his was just recent. His and Lisa, there was a couple of the healers and channelers, and it doesn't matter how it becomes awakened in you, whether you're a channeler or a healer or a minister or a teacher, it can happen at any time. And so I just want to pass on that message through Celebrate Yourself. Thank you. That's it.